Good day, everyone. Today we're going to talk about writing the definition of terms. But before anything else, we're going to have a short discussion of what a definition of term is. Basically, a definition of term is a brief description or definition of a certain term that is used in a research study. The definition of terms allows the researcher to give the readers a clearer understanding regarding certain terms, phrases, or jargons used in the research study. It is also worth noting that certain meanings or definitions are very much dependent on the context of the study, which means that certain terms, certain words, or certain expressions are very much dependent on how they are used in the research context. Now that we are familiar with the definition of terms, this leads us to this particular question. Why is there a need to have a definition of terms? Basically, since each particular research is based on a certain field or context, providing a definition of terms allows readers to become familiar with certain terms and how they are used in the research setting that is being conducted. It is worth noting that there are two types of definitions. First is what we would call a conceptual definition. The second is what you would call an operational definition. How are they different? A conceptual definition refers to the basic or common definition of a particular word. Hence, it tells the readers what a certain word or phrase actually means. Also, the conceptual definition is considered to be the most common or usual definition. Pretty much these are the definitions which are found in dictionaries. Whereas the operational definition refers to the meaning of the word based on how it is used in the research context. Hence, it is what you would call a context-specific definition. The operational definition focuses on the idea that a particular term may have a meaning that is different from the usual definition because, again, it is based on the context, it is based on how it is used in the research, thus it would have a different definition and a different function. After we're able to distinguish the difference between a conceptual definition and an operational definition, the next question would of course be, how do we start writing the definition of terms? When writing a list of definition of terms, a researcher needs to consider the following points. First, which words or terms included are used differently? Second, how are these words or terms used according to the research context? And lastly, what kind of definition should be included in the discussion? Let's focus on the first concept. When we ask the question which words or terms included are used differently, we have to consider the following. First, we have to identify the words, terms, or jargons that have a different meaning other than its usual definition or conceptual definition. Second, we could also include acronyms or abbreviations which are not common and are specific to the context of the study. Take note that we are emphasizing on the importance of recognizing the context of the study because we're aiming to establish clarity, understanding, and familiarity of certain jargons or certain expressions or certain terms because, again, there are certain words or jargons which are exclusive to a particular field. Third, no need to include terms that have basic or general definitions which are recognized by everyone. We have to remember that we have to focus on uncommon or, again, context-specific terms. And more importantly, after we have identified all these terms, we have to list them down in alphabetical order. The next two questions are interconnected. When we ask the questions, how are these words or terms used according to the research context, and what kind of definition should be included in the discussion, we have to consider the following. First, Once the terms to be defined have been identified and listed down, we have to determine how each term is used in the research. Again, we look into the context of the research that is being conducted in order for us to have an idea on how each term is used or defined. Second, we have to provide clear and concise definitions to these terms to help readers be guided on how each term is used throughout the research discussions. We have to take note that definitions do not have to be very wordy. We have to go straight to the point when explaining the definition in order to make it clearer and more understandable on the part of our readers. And lastly, you may choose to include the conceptual definition prior to explaining the operational definition. This is for purposes of providing a point of reference for the readers in order to determine the difference on how the term is used in the research. Now at this point, we're going to look into the following examples. First, we have this research topic: determining the awareness level of senior high school students regarding the risks of vaping to respiratory health. We're going to identify the following terms, followed by its conceptual definition and its corresponding operational definition. First, we have the term juice. Juice refers to an extract that is taken from fruits or vegetables. Another term for juice is a type of beverage. However, if we're going to look into the context of the study, which is vaping, the term juice would have a different meaning. Hence, from a type of beverage, the definition of juice is now considered as a flavored liquid that is put in the vape in order to create the vapor itself. If you're going to observe, the context of the study actually influences the change in the definition of a common word. Speaking of vapor, vapor is considered as a substance that is diffused or suspended in the air, especially one that is normally liquid or solid. However, again, in the context of vaping, it takes on a more specific or context-specific definition. It is now considered as the atomization of e-liquid or juice, which results in a dense smoke. Another example would be this particular research topic: identifying the satisfaction levels of drivers regarding the latest traffic policies implemented. Again, we identify a particular term, its conceptual definition, and its corresponding operational definition. For this example, we look at the term ticket. Ticket basically is a card or a paper that entitles the holder to gain access to a particular place or event. However, looking at the context of the research, which is about traffic policies, the term ticket now refers to a notice for committing an offense or violation in traffic. And lastly, let's look at this example. We have the following research topic, which is social media as a marketing tool for startup businesses. Again, we identify a particular term, its conceptual definition, and the operational definition. For this example, the term is market. Market basically is referred to a place where different products are sold. The conceptual definition focuses on the definition of market as a place. But since the context of the study focuses on marketing itself, the term market would have a different operational definition. Hence, market is now referred to as a target group of potential buyers of a product. We have to remember that providing a definition of terms allows for readers of your research to have a clearer understanding on how certain terms or jargons are used in your study. In a nutshell, the definition of terms is a list of words, terms, or jargons which have definitions that are context-specific. The definition may be classified as either conceptual or operational. When we talk about conceptual definition, it basically refers to the basic or common definition of a particular word, whereas an operational definition refers to the meaning of the word based on how it is used in the research context. And lastly, the definition of terms serve as a guide or reference for readers to have a clearer understanding of the various terms which are used in a research.